Melanie trailer. Today we are going into a deep dive on snowballs. So snowballs are one of the most versatile shapes in quilt blocks. They can make and do almost anything. So what I want to do today is first show you a look at some of the different things that snowballs can do in some of my own quilt patterns. I'm going to show you a not so secret way to make them easier and faster, and then I want to show you how to actually work through a snowball unit. So let's start with that look into snowballs. Here is a look at my new Fenvi pattern, and if you zoom right in, you can see all the snowballs. All right, so sometimes it's kind of hard to see within a quilt, so let me pull one of these blocks out. All right, this here, this white piece, this white triangle, every one of these is a snowball. These here are snowballs. This is a snowball, this is a snowball, these are snowballs. So this entire block is made with snowballs. Let me show it to you on some other quilts. This is Hello Posy. Hello Posy. Hello Posy is made almost completely with snowballs. This inner portion is snowballs. The outer portions are snowballs. This is Little Miss Sawtooth, and I want to show you this star in particular because this is a different way to make sawtooth stars. This unit, this one, and this one, all snowball units. So that's just a little look at how you can do snowballs to get different looks. This one here, this block here is also all these units snowballs. This one here, this unit and this unit snowballs. Here's another snowballs, and then I think one more snowballs. Let's look at it on Morning Sun. Morning Sun has got snowballs on half square triangles. So that's what that is, a half square triangle with snowballs added to the corners. This is a free pattern in the free pattern library. Here's that star again. Snowballs. And here's Sugar Bear. Sugar Bear has snowballs right here. And you see this one's only got 3 corners done, kind of giving it a little bit of a different look. Here is snowballs that make that friendship star there. Let's see what else we got in here. This is snowballs right here. Lots of snowballs. This is snowballs on half square triangles again. I think I got one more. I don't have a diagram of this to show you, but here's the photo of my migration quilt and snowballs. So snowballs can do so much in your quilt. They can make so many different shapes, so much variety, and that is just a little look at some of the snowballs. All right, so here is the diagonal seam tape up close. And this is one of the handiest notions that I have in my sewing room. And I've been using it for, I want to say 3 to 4 years, and it is one of those must-have notions. There's actually several uses for this tape, and I'm going to start with the ones that are most important to me. Skipping drawing lines. I don't know about you, but drawing lines on the back of 100 squares takes way too long, and sometimes you just want to jump in and start sewing. So this tape can make you not draw those lines. Another thing that the tape can be good for is if your machine doesn't have a 1/4 inch foot, you could use this tape to help you get better 1/4 inch seams. So here's how it works. When I'm snowballing, I use the red line. When I'm making flying geese or half square triangles, I use these 2 lines. All right, we're going to learn how to set it up, and then I'm going to give you a demo. All right, so this is what your tape will look like when you have it placed. So that's what you're going for. But the thing about it is you've got to place it, right? And you your human eye is not going to place this perfectly no matter what you do. So I like to use, just a ruler, and this is about a 12-inch ruler. If you have a 1/4-inch foot, this can be made really, really easy by just putting your ruler up against your foot. You want to make sure that it's flush, so you don't want to, have it accidentally at an angle. So instead of putting it like right up here where it's easy to make a mistake at the top of the ruler, I kind of like to put it in the middle of the ruler. The foot is what I'm talking about, in the middle of this ruler, because I feel like I get a better straight line. When I do it this way, sometimes it shifts, so I'm not positive that I'm getting that straight line. So I always use the middle of my ruler for that very reason. But if you don't have a 1/4-inch foot, and I don't, this is actually a scant 1/4-inch foot, then you have to use the line on your needle plate to go by. Here's what I do. I take my ruler and I actually put it way up here, and I want to put it on the 1/4-inch line of that ruler. And I check it by when I put my needle. I'm barely touching this needle to this ruler, but I am touching it. I sit there and I try to get that needle to go right into that 1/4-inch line on the ruler. Then I would take my tape like this, unroll however much you think you need, or even just leave it on there. But then I would place like this, and I would make this red line up with that 1/4-inch line on my ruler. And you could even make it go over it. The point of this is that it actually lines up really, really straight. Because if you don't get it straight, then you're going to be sewing those straight lines in the wrong place. So you want to get it straight. So I would place this about like this. And like I said, you'll be fiddling with it for a minute, trying to get it perfect. All right, and when I think I've got it, I would have laid this down. Then I can move my ruler. I kind of just barely put it on the tape. Move my ruler out of the way, and then put this back. And I can check myself by taking my ruler, using that 1/4-inch line on my needle plate. I put the edge of my ruler on the inside part of that line. And then I can check myself and make sure that this black line, I don't have it, this black line is on the edge of that ruler. And if it's not, then I just adjust. So obviously I need to go a little bit this way. All right, and I've got it pretty dead on right there. So now I know that I've got this in the right place. You may do this a lot. You may mess with this thing for, 20 minutes until you get it. But once you get it, time savers begin to happen, but you just have to get it straightened up the first time. And you could use washi tape. I have lots of tutorials where I'm showing you how to use the washi tape instead of this tape here. This is a type of washi tape, but like plain washi tape without the measurements. I've used those for years. The problem is that I constantly have to replace them, like put them in different places, or I have to have multiple lines. And what I like about this one is I don't need any multiple. I've got everything I need on this one tape. So I do encourage you to try this tape out. All right, so that's how you get the tape down. Now let's go to our snowball tutorial. All right, so the pattern I'm currently working on is telling me that I need to take this rectangle and these two squares, and I'm going to put them on my pieces like this. Now my pattern also tells me to draw a line, right? But I'm skipping that part because I'm using the tape. If you want to put a pin in it, you can. I usually don't, to be honest. But if you want to, and for demo purposes, I will do it. All right. And then my pattern tells me to sew here and here. All right, so let's go do that. Okay, so here we are. And I'm sewing both of these in this direction, right? Just like my pattern told me. Either direction would work, but just make sure, you're always doing what your pattern tells you to do. And I don't have that drawn line to guide me, so I will just line up this corner of the unit, this corner right down here. I'm going to line that up with that red line and keep it flush with the red line. Start sewing, right? Keeping that corner directly on the red line. That's what that ends up looking like. I'm going to do the same thing with this side, putting the corner right there on the red line. Put the other corner, you know, right at where my needle's going to fall, and do it again. Just always be mindful that you're sewing in the correct direction, because if I was supposed to sew this way, you know, I've already messed up. So make sure that, again, you're looking at your pattern and you know you're sewing in the right place. All right, there is my unit. Let's go finish it up. Okay, one tip that you always should do, and you kind of see this, it does take extra time, but I'm telling you, it makes your snowballs come out better. If you look at it, it's kind of got a little bit of waviness to it, because that's just kind of something that happens with your machine. It's just something that happens when you sew the pieces together. So you always want to set those seams before you go and cut them. So I'm just going to give this a set, and I'm not ironing, I'm just setting, and it doesn't take long. I would actually run through all these just like this. And the more pieces I have, you know, I just pile it up, keep going. All right, then we're ready to do our thing. And what I'm gonna do is I take the 1/4 inch line of my ruler, line it up directly on my stitch line. So 1/4 inch line on the stitches, and I'm actually cutting a 1/4 inch away from that. Boom, just like that. Flip it around. Next, we get our iron. You're gonna push this out with your fingers. Be gentle with all triangle units, and snowballs are triangle units. So you wanna be gentle. You don't wanna be ironing, you're pressing. Push it out. One thing that is another tip here is that you all get the whole thing out. A lot of units will be shortened because you left a little lip right here on your seam. So you want to make sure that you've got that seam pushed all the way out, and then you press. All right, I would take this unit and do the same thing. Lay some starch. Press again, and that is my snowball unit. Now, like I said, there's a lot of different snowball units. I could be making sawtooth stars with snowball units. I could be making all kinds of different blocks. So all of them do not look exactly like this. They can have many, many different looks. Here's that other block again to show you. All 3 of these units are snowball units. This one has 2 different snowballs. This one has 1, and it's much bigger than these. And you can even have one with 4. You can do 1 corner, you can do 4 corners. I mean, it's just endless possibilities, endless shapes can be made when you are using snowball units. So I like to batch sew everything I do, or every task, including pressing snowballs. So when I have a whole bunch of these to do, I will do it kind of like this. Just keep going, as many as I can fit on this wool mat. And then when I get as many as I can fit, I spray them all with starch and press again. Then I'll flip them over and do the other side, if there is another side. Some of your snowballs, of course, aren't going to have another side. And sometimes I've even filled up my whole pressing mat, you know, doing these in batches. Okay, so snowballs are notorious for coming out the wrong size. So if you're new to snowball making and you're having a hard time getting them at the right size, don't give yourself too hard of a time, because it's really easy to do. I mean, I still do it. So it happens, and the best thing to do is to just have you a little ritual in place for getting them done correctly. It's not going to work every single time, but mine probably come out right, 90% of the time at least. So here's what I always do to make sure that I don't have accidents, or I don't have little errors within my unit. One, I starch my fabric before I ever cut it. That helps me get accurate cutting. And if my unit, like these are, let's say that these were 2.5, my 2.5 unit, if it was a little bit more or a little bit less, it's going to make everything after I cut it wonky. So it's important to get this the right size. The wrong size will give me a wonky snowball unit. So I need to have that accurate. So I press and starch before I ever cut them. Next, I make sure that I've got my seam allowance correct. When I sew them, I'm sewing it directly on that line, corner to corner. Anything off the corner, you're going to have some errors in your snowballs. Do I make mistakes in that? Of course I do. I make tons of mistakes. I get off the corner all the time. I might have gotten off in the corner in the demo I just showed you. So, I mean, don't beat yourself up. It happens. But, those are some of the things that kind of cause errors in snowballs. Another thing that I think is one of the easiest ways to mess your snowballs up is pressing. If I was to sit here and iron this corner out, every time I slide that iron across there, I'm warping this shape. So I'm careful with my iron. A lot of mistakes happen if I don't press this all the way out. If I have a lip right here, your unit will be too short. So doing all of this together has really changed the way my snowballs looked from when I first began quilting. Also, using starch, it helps. I know it takes more time to do it, but would you rather that time be used correcting the things that you didn't take the time to do, or just doing it right the first time around? That's totally up to you. I mean, only you can decide those things. But those are my tips. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed this look into snowballs. If you have more tips and tricks yourself that have helped you along the way, please put those in the comments. Those are so helpful for some of the other listeners. And that's all. I've got links to all of my patterns below if you liked some of those quilts I showed you. And I've got a link to the diagonal seam tape if that is something you would like to try. I will see you next time.